Seat, please. Before we recess, Mr. Goff, you had a matter for the court.
Yes, Your Honor. Over the lunch recess, my understanding is, can I have notes? Your Honor, during the lunch recess, co-counsel had an opportunity to look outside at what was going on, and there are some matters that need to be placed on the record.
May I go ahead and get this out?
One moment, Your Honor.
Sorry, Mr. Goff.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm not using any of that stuff. Your Honor, protesters, whether they were the Black Panther group or some other group, were behind the barriers in front of the courthouse. There was a truck carrying a coffin with the names of the defendants on it. At least one of these groups, I believe it was the Black Panther group, is referenced in the motion filed this morning that their specific objective was to influence the proceedings in this case. I don't know whether they intended to scare the defendants, but I have co-counsel with a small child who was scared to death. Large weapons, apparently automatic weapons, were seen outside the courthouse. And, you know, given everything else that's already transpired in this case, we believe at this point that it's appropriate for us to renew the motion for mistrial. This court has gone to great lengths to give these defendants a fair trial, but the security precautions that were in place, despite the sheriff's best efforts and Your Honor's best efforts, we've now got people who claim to be violent driving around the courthouse with coffins with our clients' names on them with semi or fully automatic weapons. I mean, I'm not sure. This is no longer a figurative mob. This is a literal mob. And inevitably the proceedings, despite best efforts, are tainted. We would move for mistrial.
Anything for remaining defendants?
Go.
Our position again is if the jury has been exposed to it, yes, we would be gravely concerned and we would need them to let the court know that they've seen it and it's had any influence on them. Short of that, if it's folks exercising their First Amendment rights outside and our jury is unaware of it, then we're okay.
And I would agree with Mr. Hogue. That's what I was going to say. And I would, one more thing. To make sure in this most important trial that the jurors are not being exposed to these matters, I would ask the court to affirmatively question them altogether, to remind them, to bring it to your attention or the court deputy's attention if they have encountered it or been contacted in any way.
State asks that you deny the motion for mistrial. We leave it to the discretion of the court.
Yeah, the court's again denying the mistrial. I've indicated previously and mentioned to counsel that I agree with the concern that is out there with regard to the jurors having exposure to anything that may be going on outside. Whatever may be going on outside. It has not been brought to my attention on a security level. Again, individuals have a right to be outside the courthouse. I agree with Mr. Hogue that the court needs to keep a very close eye on whether or not whatever may be going on outside the courthouse has any influence upon the jury, and the court has taken steps to ensure that the jury is insulated from anything going on around the courthouse so that they can focus on their business before the court, which would be to consider the evidence presented as well as the arguments of counsel, and I will continue to endeavor to do so.
Has the court talked with the jury bailiff at all, and also keeping lines of communication up with the jury bailiff so that she would say, Judge, there's some murmurs or there's some things being spoken? Is she keeping an active ear out for the court?
Without getting into detail, I will tell you that the court I'm trying to stay apprised of whatever may be going on with the jury. As far as what's going on outside, that's up to whoever's outside making sure that everything's okay. But as far as this jury is concerned and what may be going on that may affect the proceedings in this courtroom, yes, I have tried to ensure that I'm at least aware of anything that may be important enough to affect the proceedings. And if something did happen, I would probably be bringing it to everybody's attention because I think it would be important for counsel to know.
One other thing, I wanted to move again that we replace juror number 12. And I will tell you, I tried to make some eye contact with you during my closing. She had nodded off. She was done. She was sleeping. And so at one point I walked closer to her to try to rustle her up, and I even thought there was someone that might have even moved her chair, kind of kicked it, and she then still nodded back off again. So I would ask again, since this is now about the third or fourth time that we've had to deal with it, that we have her replaced with the first alternate.
We would join that.
Juror 12 is sitting right in front of me. I never saw this. She had her eyes open.
So Ms. Duncan's talking about what she saw, so let's
This is
let
what
her
I
finish.
saw. And I was facing Ms. Hogue while she was talking, but I was very closely watching the jurors. And juror 12 was right in front of me. I did not see her nod off. I didn't see her close her eyes at all. I saw her actively paying attention to this. That is what I saw.
I will again start focusing on juror number 12, where I think is sitting close to the bailiff now, and make sure.
And for the record, Your Honor, is there anyone else at the council table that's able to indicate whether you agree with what I saw? I thought that you and I had made some eye contact. I must have misunderstood that I thought you were looking straight at her.
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt Ms. Dunikowski. I did see it. There were 2 times where I thought about turning over a box accidentally or kicking the table hard, but I didn't want to interrupt her, Ms. Hogue's closing, but there were 2 times.
I'm hearing a couple different things, so I'm going to keep an eye on juror number 12 again and ensure I did not see a juror sleeping during closing arguments. But that, of course, is something, particularly with what has happened previously, that I now will again start keeping a close eye upon.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if she was nodding off during Ms. Hope's presentation, I mean, she may need medical attention. We may have a coma here before I'm done.
Let's get going.
Okay. With that, we're in recess. Let's go about 10 minutes.